2016 Overwatch was a very silly game, and with Overwatch Classic about to drop, I want to run you through one silly quirk for every hero in the game that you can take advantage of when you hop back in to the old game. And we are just going to waste no time here. I'm going to go right on to Bastion. You're going to be seeing just the footage that they've provided us. It's going to be very short here, but Bastion, complete different kit. If you will remember though, he had self-repair, which was, you know, he just gets to heal himself. But if you used it in sentry mode, which they don't show you here, he stopped, completely stopped. So if you see a Bastion running for his life, he either just has to keep running or place himself on the ground forever and die. So if that happens to you, just remember that is what's going on with Bastion. Okay, Cassidy was the hero that was changed the most in the beginning months of Overwatch. Every time there was a balance patch, Cassidy was there, mainly because of Fan the Hammer doing 70 damage per bullet. Remember, he unloads his entire clip, so you're doing a lot of damage, like 420 damage. He was the tank destroyer at that time, so you might want to keep your range from this guy, although his damage fall off was not as aggressive as it was anyways either. D.Va, of course, has a bit of a different kit, but I want to pull your attention to her health pool. She has 400 armor and 100 health. It's so ridiculous. This did not stay in the game very long, but it is extremely funny looking back on it. D.Va won't be very good in this build, but just know that it's going to be hard to interact with her for a little bit. Okay, Genji here. Genji has a really interesting thing. Genji actually ignored traps. So he would Swift Strike with Swift Strike, obviously. He would Swift Strike. If he went through a Junkrat trap or a Widow Mine, he went right through it. That was it. It was so funny. So there's a couple of things that he'll just completely ignore with Swift Strike. Do with that information what you will. An unsuspecting Junkrat might be caught off guard because of it. Okay, Hanzo here. Are we gonna? There we go. Hanzo has a couple of, you know, he's got a different kit, of course, but he had like a lockout on when you could attack after a wall ride. Or a wall climb. This was actually before you could store arrow charge, but he would wall climb and then he'd have to wait a second before he can attack. So just keep that in mind if you're going on like a flank or something, trying to catch people off guard. You might not actually catch them off guard in time. Okay, next we have Junkrat, and Junkrat's really funny thing that honestly I'm kind of upset that they got rid of, not really, was that he could damage himself with his frag grenade, with his grenade launcher. And what's funny about this, and what you should know about this, is that he can make himself die on top of you. He can, you know, hit you with an explosion, it will hit him, kill him, and then total mayhem will rain down from your body. And since there's a lot of characters that don't have as much mobility or mitigation in this build, that could actually catch you off guard. It is extremely funny. You should try to go for this. I promise you it would be funny. Okay, Lucio. There's a couple of quality of life changes that we don't know if they're going to keep in these builds, and I don't know if I'd even classify these as quality of life changes, but Lucio's wall riding worked so much differently back in the day, because you would go on the wall and then you'd be there for like a second or two and you'd have to get off the wall and you couldn't go back onto the same wall you were on. Also, you couldn't go backwards. So Lucio's wall riding was way different. So when you see a Lucio, he's not going to be as slippery, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to mess up their muscle memory with this character. So you should capitalize on that. It will be very funny. All right. Here's another one that I didn't even know. I was just going back through the patch notes. Blizzard does not pierce barriers in the first build of this game. So it actually had an LOS check from Snowball with barriers involved, which is actually crazy to think about. So if you just, you know, throw a Blizzard at a Rhine shield, he can now block it. So you should be very careful and be ready for that to happen. Okay, Mercy has a lot of weird different stuff, but I want you to remember that we do have Guardian Angel back to its regular state, its original state. So traditional super jumping is back. However, do not forget, if you try to do this, it was really finicky at the time. They did a couple of changes to make it like work better, but otherwise the original version of Guardian Angel didn't it was like really awkward. It's like you might get it and you may not get it, and the conditions are not as clear about when Guardian or a super jump would happen. So if you're playing Mercy, just be careful. Your super jumps literally might not come out at all. Okay, next is Pharah, who, to be honest with you, doesn't have that many silly, funny changes. But I guess just know that after Barrage, it does not refill your ammo. So if you use all your bullets or your rockets and then Barrage, you might be caught off guard. Pharah is really lame. She did not get a lot of changes until Overwatch 2, unfortunately, and the changes she got were really minor, not really to her kit. Speaking of ammo, and I think this one is much more important, Reaper Wraith functions so much differently. Obviously, you can't cancel Wraith form. You have to wait out the whole duration. But the worst thing about it is that it does not refill your ammo. You can see that right there. So don't be coming out of Wraith form after using your entire clip thinking you're going to have fun, because you're just going to have to sit there and throw your guns away in their face with nowhere to go. Which will, again, that will catch some other Reapers by surprise, I'm sure. So that's another funny one to look out for. Reinhardt didn't have too many changes early on, but I think a lot of people don't remember this. His Earth Shatter height distance was actually an extra meter tall. So right now it is 2 meters. It was 3 meters at launch and could climb way more stuff than it can now. So when you get Earth Shattered on like a ledge or something, or like mid-air basically, just know that, I don't know if you can jump, like you can never jump Earth Shatter, but like there might be a couple of characters that are like in the air a little bit more and still get hit by Earth Shatter, especially like through the payload and stuff. So be on the lookout for random Rein ultimates that are gonna catch you off guard. Why am I looking at Mercy again? This is supposed to be Roadhog. What happened? Okay, I think they might have messed up. So, anyways, hold. There we go. Roadhog. Another thing, similar to Bastion, the self-healing abilities stopped your movement. So imagine Roadhog with Take a Breather, but he can't move during it. And remember, it's not on a resource or anything. So if he does a bad Take a Breather, he actually has to think about his positioning when he takes a breather, which is really funny. So when you're playing Roadhog, do not forget that you will go completely still when you use that ability. Okay, next we have Soldier. Soldier, actually, you can see it right there. His gun, of course, had spread, but in the initial build of the game, the spread started instantly. So you actually, like, you know, what Soldier used to do when it didn't, it took a couple bullets before the spread started. You could, like, fire, wait, and then you get the best DPS. This one is just completely random. So it just doesn't make, I guess it actually works better with his ultimate now, because it actually makes him aim better. That's actually interesting. His ult works better with his old kit. I'm just realizing. But do not forget that with Soldier. It's going to feel really weird. Symmetra, we could talk about a million different things. I want to talk to you about my beloved picking up the basketball with your gun. Since her gun has the auto aim now, or, you know, like it used to, you can pick up the basketball. Like you can keep the basketball that's in those, like even like a control map like Nepal, you can keep it in the middle of it and then go dunk it in the basket over and over and over and over again. And side note, I doubt they'll change anything like this, but in the first builds of the game, there was no indicator that you actually made a basket. So I have a feeling now it will keep doing that, but I think that's just something funny to notice. And of course, just Sim in general is completely different. Okay, Torbjörn. So we all know about Scrap. He had to go pick up Scrap. Like, that was his thing, right? But Torb actually had, for the most part, could build scrap passively, so he didn't have to go abandon his position to give armor packs. Not in this build. Good luck. Go get in there. Go grab your scrap so you can get armor packs. I also don't remember if you start with scrap. I think you start with a little bit of scrap. But yeah, you do have to go get into the fray to use that other ability, which is just mind-boggling that a character like this has to do that. Okay. With Tracer, this is another one of those quality of life things I'm actually not sure if they've recreated or not, but her blinks didn't go over ledges like they used to, or like they do now. You know, kind of like if there's a height here and the height you're trying to get to is here, it's just barely higher than what you are, it'll teleport you up top, basically. It'll kind of push you over the ledge. Same thing like Juno. Juno can push herself over the ledges if she's close to it. In the original versions of Overwatch, that is not there. It's going to make Tracer feel really bad in some scenarios. So be careful when you're playing this character, who will probably be very, very good. Just FYI. All right, next we have Widowmaker. Something to know about Widowmaker is that she actually does not do increased headshot damage. I didn't know this. I thought this was from the beginning. But she actually only does 2 times to the head instead of 2.5 like she does now. So you actually, depending on your character, might be able to survive a shot from Widowmaker. Not there, obviously. I don't know what her primary was. But yeah, it's just a really funny thing. I actually don't know how much damage she actually does. Be on the lookout for Widows. Her kit's very much the same, but she does have 200 health as well. Bonus, she has 200 health, not like 175, not a reduced value. So good luck, have fun. Next, we have, who's next? Winston. The only thing, like, Winston is also very, very similar. The only thing is that his bubble cooldown doesn't come back or start going on cooldown until the bubble is done. So that actually means you have to wait a lot longer before you can use bubble, which is really bad for Winston. Even though Winston is a really good tank, he's going to feel not as good. So you should abuse that fact if you see a Winston use a bad bubble, because then he's not going to have it for a very long time. And then finally, the last two, we have Zarya, who, another bonus, in this build of the game, she doesn't get knocked back at all in her bubble, but the actual thing is that her bubbles give her 50 energy each. So she could basically just instantly get 100 charge and be running you down with her other tank. It's kind of crazy, the power that this character had at the beginning of the game, just like that, right? Her whole thing about building charge and trying to keep it kind of out the window with how quickly she built the charge. And then finally, we have Zenyatta, who has 150 HP. This is actual glass cannon. You're not allowed to do anything. You're going to sit in the back and use your 50% Discord, and that is it. Good luck. Have fun. Bonus, Transcendence was also regular movement speed, so you couldn't like use it to really save people. You had to be like right next to them, which felt really weird. But yeah, that is Zenyatta, and that is it basically for these changes. I'm excited to jump back in just to try it, to have a little bit of fun. Remember, oh my god, you remember this thing? You remember this thing? Because I played this game at launch. I was 15 years old, which is crazy to think about. I don't want to think about it. But yeah, that is Overwatch Classic. It is about to launch. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Let me know, what do you think about these changes? Are there any other ones that I missed, or if some of these are wrong? I'm not so certain about the Widow one, actually, but please let me know down below. And did I say like the video? Like the video too. This was streamed live, twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. That's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I will be live at 5:30 to the day this video goes live to test out this fun game mode and probably do whatever event quests that they have. So please join me there, and join my Discord down below. I'm doing a little giveaway for Twitch subs. Everything you need to know is down there as well. So please check that out. And that is all I have. Please have a good day.